Hi guys. Pikachu and I would like to just talk to you. I'm Celeste, by the way. Pikachu and I would like to talk to you about like how I was gonna say get ideas, but that's not even right. Okay, fine. I guess it works. How I get ideas for writing songs when I have nothing going on right here in the good old crown chakra, okay? When I have absolutely nothing going on, when my mental energy has no idea where to go, or I don't have any. When there's nothing going on here, where do I go to get ideas for songs? This is probably gonna be a short video. Okay, first I would say caffeine, crazy. Like I'll drink coffee, crazy. I will write like 5 songs at minimum if I drink a cup of coffee. Even if I had nothing to offer as a person before I started drinking that coffee, after the coffee, I will have written 5 songs worth of lyrics that are so good that I'm indefinitely going to use them. Like, I'm not really writing lyrics that I don't use, which, you know, I'm questioning if I should say that, because sometimes having certain proof of you saying something can turn it into like a thing for you. What I would say is I only use lyrics that are phenomenal to me. I only use the ones that make the cut. I immediately delete the ones that don't make the cut. We'll put it that way. You know, I immediately delete everything I've used because I'm paranoid of accidentally repeating one. I'm paranoid about the concept of copyright, even though I'm not naturally a copywritten person. You can naturally be a type of person who will copyright things that, again, I'm hesitant to say this because I'm like, here's the proof of me having said that. So there is magical reasoning enough to assume that I'm talking myself into being the type of person who would do that, because hypothetically that type of person does exist. Having a very magical perspective of the world gives me that that mental energy we were talking about. Okay. I don't really drink alcohol, but it would help. I'm not against alcohol. Like, I do drink alcohol, but I don't drink alcohol. Does that make sense? Like, if I'm doing like an offering, like, I will. Or if I'm like, I don't know. I'm not big into it, but like, I'm not like not into it at all. But I don't know about different types of alcohol because I'm so not into it that I don't know. I couldn't tell you the difference between like 2 random ones. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not like based on like a set amount, but if I do drink alcohol, I could write like 20 songs worth of lyrics if I want to. I just probably wouldn't want to, but like I would probably write at least 10, you know, that I definitely would use because they're good. Definitely. Yeah. Like I said, they would be really good. They might start to not fully sound like me all the way, unless I rewrite them a little bit and tweak them, you know, but like, for the most part, but they're definitely good. So I definitely could use them. If I had nothing else to work with, I could use them, okay? One thing I am very open to doing, there are certain artists who write their own songs who have a lot of mental energy themselves, so much so that even though they're famous and have a lot of people pulling on their energy, they have such a mind to where they have so much energy that they're open to sharing that energy to anybody who listens to the project that they already have that's put out. So you can, without, you know, maintaining respect and without copyright and without, you don't have to be anything similar to the project they have, but they have so much mental energy that putting them on in the background, as long as you're, you know, evolved enough as a person to where you're not going to accidentally copyright something or something really stupid, you know, as long as you're evolved enough as an artist, as a songwriter, you can put on an artist who has a lot of mental energy and just listen to their album and absorb that energy and then use it, like, for free, essentially, because mental energy, like I talked about in my video that's currently still uploading, so it might be after this one, I don't know. I have to turn on the AC, but I'm like self-conscious about it because guess what? My bed is so squeaky. If I lean over, I don't know. I'm like, it's gonna sound squeaky. But I'm gonna do it. You're gonna see what I mean. Which is so stupid for me to be self-conscious of everything, but that also creates more mental energy because why are you embarrassed over something stupid that nobody cares about? It creates more mental energy, okay? 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 If you have something to be embarrassed about, you have a lot of mental energy. If you have a lot of people pulling on your energy and you're still good at harvesting more mental energy, you have a lot of mental energy. At that point, you probably have some to even share with other people. Which is why, well, there's a lot of reasons, but I do like a lot of, you know, songwriters. Here's the deal. I think somebody like Taylor Swift would probably hate me if she saw everything I put out online because I've talked about her in positive and negative ways. I think she, or I don't know. Depends on how forgiving she is, but I don't plan to delete those for no reason because why would I do that to myself? And because I had some good criticism, okay? So like, I do think somebody like Taylor Swift would hate me, but it's also like, I don't need approval, but it's like, she's one of those people who I think is positive to have because, I mean, obviously, because what I'm saying is she has mental energy enough to like share with other people if they're exposed to her energy. Not in a way that has anything to do with copyright though, because create your own idea, you know what I mean? But I feel like if you really have like nowhere to go, you can listen to her music like in the background and harvest more mental energy for yourself so that you have some direction to go in if you have like literally nothing going on with it, you know? I don't actually get into like other vices. Like I've done mushrooms or like a microdose of mushrooms, but I don't think I've tried songwriting or writing of any, you know, it's been a long time, so I don't know what it would do, but I would also be cautious about it because you want to know what? Sometimes in that like altered state with like a psychedelic like mushrooms, I think you could be like, it sounded so good, and then like record yourself and then put it on the internet and be like, why would I do that? You know, like that's awful. You know what I mean? So I don't even know. I think I would just avoid doing mushrooms unless I like did not have my phone on me, because what if I like do that? You know what I mean? Like I'm so much more of like a self-preserving person, essentially. Like I don't like do other vices. The craziest thing I've done is mushrooms. So I'm like, I don't need to worry about, I don't need to do a lot of that stuff for mental energy or for other forms of energy because I've already mastered the like correct way of doing it to where I can just put on a song in the background and have the same like trip that I would have, which is why I'm also cautious with music. Like I don't really go around always listening to music because it triggers stuff, which causes more mental energy, but also weird. It's so funny. Sometimes working, having a job, just having a minimum wage job having a minimum wage job, like, literally gives me mental energy. Like, it gives me, like, I'll literally write song lyrics. I'll just grab a napkin. It gives me more mental energy because I literally have to hide it. Like, I'm not allowed to. It's like, oh, this is like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not allowed to. I'm like, I can get in trouble. Oh no. Like, if you can get in trouble, you're definitely getting more mental energy. Just, like, be safe. Don't be, like, evil. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely see be safe and be evil as opposites. Yeah, like, I don't know. But I think I also wouldn't hate on people who would use physical vices to evolve themselves if they truly have no other way, because sometimes, like, there is a scarcity of mental energy on the planet, and a lot of people truly are either not able to harvest it for themselves or are not able to use it in a good way or create it in a good way. So there are so many, like, fine lines of separation where I'm like, there are scenarios where I would hate you for this. There are scenarios where I'm like, whoa, I have to put myself in your shoes and be like, hypothetically, if I had nothing going on and accidentally did something, like, what would I even, like, do? You know what I mean? Like, obviously there are, like, insane situations, and there are situations where it's like, maybe I can, like, try to have compassion for, like, that person in that way, you know? So it's, but for me, I have high standards with, like, I don't use physical vices. Like, I only, you know, because coffee and alcohol, I mean, I do. Other ones I don't. But I've done mushrooms before. You get what I mean? So, like, what I'm saying is, or, like, I've smoked weed before, but, like, I don't. But if I did, then yeah, I would be writing, like, crazy lines of songs, you know? Like, I would be, like, writing. Because that's a vice, like, it still gives you energy. So if you're given energy, you can choose what you do with it. And, like, the way that I express myself is definitely where I've chosen to put a lot of energy. So my mind is already structured like that, and my soul is already like, okay, like, if we have energy, it's probably being used for some form of expression anyway, so, like, might as well, like, further what is hopefully a career, you know what I mean? like, you know. Honestly, water is not a vice to me currently. It's just a way to stay hydrated, but I have maybe drinking too much water in the past. Like, I have totally been, like, tripping from water before, like, just plain water. Like, just, like, you know, you open a water bottle and it's, like, brand new. So either the grocery store poisoned it or I was tripping from just the water. It's happened on at least 2 occasions where the only thing it could have possibly been was the water, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. So what I would say is that, like, in that hypothetical situation, maybe I'm just, like, so evolved, or maybe the grocery store just poisons, like, a few sometimes, I don't know. No, that sounds so mean. Publix, I didn't mean it had to be you, you know? Like, I don't know where the bottles of water were from. But you know what I mean? Like, this one happens to be from Publix, but, you know. It's kind of giving, if I were successful, I could be sued, but also all the water would sell out because people would want to try that. But not sponsored, you know. But yeah, no, I've fully been, like, tripping, like, mushrooms from opening a bottle of water and, like, taking one sip on 2 occasions where it had to be the water because there was absolutely nothing else it could have been. Yep. Totally. Like, that's just psychosis, but from the water. From the water, though, at least I'm hydrated. It's like I'm not actively experiencing that. It just had to be that because there was nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? It definitely made me think about that. I was like, huh, what do you mean? So, where else do I go to write stuff? If I'm really mad at somebody over something from the past, if I really want to like dig up some old dirt but disguise it and make it very obvious that no one can tell if it's about that person or not, then yeah, like I will make that sacrifice for more mental energy for me and for you, because there's no reason to think that a lot of people perceiving this someday, if I'm massively successful someday. It's so funny saying if, because I feel like that's already a reality, but it's like, if I don't say if, people are gonna be like, so you're actively in psychosis, but that's not what it is. I just have like self-esteem, and I'm magical, and I just care about myself, and I just, like, consciousness can rest in different areas for you once something is already presumed to be true through lived experience. Also, you can tell what just happened with me, like talking myself into more mental energy and opening the throat chakra at the same time is definitely a thing. If I didn't know where to go at all, I wouldn't really be able to do that because it takes like a little bit more. But turning on a camera and just making a YouTube video does harvest a little bit of energy, because you have to be like embarrassed about something at some point. You have to be like, wait, I like this about myself, I don't like this about myself, I'm perceiving my own personality. Perceiving my own personality gives me more mental energy, because there's always something I like and always something I hate, and it's like, where does that come from, you know? Being very tapped into energy is where some of my songwriting mental energy can come from. If I can really like feel on a deep level about anything, then I can just write about that. It doesn't have to be a person. It does not have to be a person. It can literally be like a laundry basket. If I can, a mirror, like a lamp, a cloud outside, if I can really tap into like the energy of like feeling something deeply, then I can write about it. If I have nothing else to use, okay, nothing else to use at all, like literally nothing, okay, if I had nothing, like bare bones, literally nothing, okay, literally nothing, now you can tell, like, I literally talked myself out of some of the mental energy that I had, but my throat chakra is still open, so I'm like, what direction do I even want to go in? Obviously, telling you all this is, like, very cringy, but it does come with more mental energy as well, because which is so funny to be so fixated on it. Like, I literally just look crazy and insane because nobody believes in this, but if they think about it for more than a second, they know exactly what I mean. Does nobody have the capacity to do that? I don't know. So, what was I gonna say? I was definitely gonna say something. Memory is definitely not a thing that's really with me that much. Like, I know what happened each day, but like, if I wanted to do one thing and then repeat it exactly the same way, I would mess it up. Right now, with the current amount of energy I have, because I'm trying to direct it exactly where I need it, but I don't have a whole lot at the moment. And I've never had like a perfect memory to where I could like I've had a perfect memory as to like what events happened when, but I haven't had a perfect memory as to like, you know, if I did something one time, like, can I repeat it perfectly? No, like never, like probably never in my life. But I've been so good at like tapping into the energies of like different time periods and like exploring how I feel about different things and like writing and developing my mind that way, to where like in the past, like I kind of never needed it, but now I'm like, damn, like if I ever wanted to be a performer in the future, I'm like, everyone's gonna know that I just messed up. Everyone's gonna know I messed up, and I'm not gonna know I messed up because I'm not gonna remember the way I was supposed to do it. Like, you know, like, my dream job is something that would embarrass me so much. I'm like, if I don't work on myself more, how would I literally survive? You know what I'm saying? Like, working on myself all the time to be better, but I'm like, damn, like, which is why I would hate to be one of the people that like blows up super fast. Well, no, I wouldn't, but like I would hate to, obviously not, but like there's good and bad, you know? I'm like, I would have to be able to prove myself in some capacity before that point. A strength for me is abundance in the mental energy of writing. A weakness for me right now is like memory and repetition and like doing something exactly the same way that I had already done it. Right now, that would be a weakness. But being able to write anything at any point in time infinitely is a strength, and being good at writing is a strength. Being able to create things that make people think about their own reality is a strength. So, I have something going for me. Not everything, but something. Again, if I have like barely anything to go for me as far as writing in the moment, I'll start with a title that's really good. And then I can write like pages just based on the one title. Like, you know, there were maybe like 1 or 2 occasions where I just started singing and the words all fell together. And I think those are some of the catchiest ones, but like that's right now kind of rare for me because in that style, I'm a very new songwriter, but in the style that I'm used to, I feel evolved. So I wouldn't put myself in like the top 1% in that style, which is important to differentiate, but like overall I do have high self-esteem with songwriting to where I could already, like in my mind, I'm like, well, why couldn't I be a billionaire someday, like with this, if I wanted to? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hypothetically, like, why wouldn't I? Like, it's not even from like a deficiency of anything, I'm like, genuinely, I just have, in a safe way, I guess, to express that I have like talent that I'm okay with sharing and I don't really care. I'm like, as long as I could figure out memory, and as long as I keep practicing the other types of songwriting and combine them, there's no reason to think it wouldn't work out for me. I'm just undiscoverable also. Not that I'm at a point where I want to be discovered for that, because I'm like, my catalog of work is like tiny. Like, even if I finish the projects that even if I finish the products that I'm currently working on, okay, I would have a total of 5 albums and then some singles out, which to me is a very low number because I have like infinite lyrical ideas, you know. So yeah. I'm like, why are you watching me drink water? But I literally just did that. So, I don't know, I guess that's all I got, guys. Songwriting really doesn't take me mental energy in the sense that I would lose some after I write a song. Like, if I'm set for the day, I don't run out. If I'm set for the day, I don't run out. The following day, it's a different story, so I can't guarantee. But if I'm set for the day, I don't run out, and then, you know, it would be rare for me to have no ideas that are extremely good for more than like 4 days in a row. Like, I could have no ideas for 4 days in a row and then write 2 albums or worth of lyrics on the 5th day. So at that point, it doesn't matter. Like, I still care, but like, it works out for me. That's all I got right now. I love you guys. Bye.